All right, hello, and welcome to the Uniq Xpressions podcast. I am your host, Destinee Jae, and we are diving right into the topic tonight of defining submission. I am going to need all of my strong Black kings and lovely queens to speak up tonight and tell me what submission means to you, whether it's a positive or negative thing in your eyes. All right? So let's lay down the criteria for your present or future partner so they can maybe one day pull up this very episode. And please subscribe by pressing the big red button now so you can see all of our new episodes and our past episodes. And your partners might be able to connect more with you that way. All right. So, the questions we gotta ask are like, do men and women even know what they need to be happy? Is submission even the right answer to happiness in relationships? All right. So let's see. Let me give you guys a little criteria, just a little bit. All right. So I did a little research, right? So it says when most people think of submission, they correlate it to sex or dominance. So let's first define submission, all right? So I got a couple of things. Submission is the action or fact of accepting or yielding to a superior force or to the will or authority of another person. It says submission in relationship is an act that is mutual or voluntary. Being submissive helps us to be less self centered and allows us to consider the desires of others. Uh, and in healthy relationships, partners are not forced into submission. So, what do you guys think about that? Let's start there.
Yeah. As far as submitting to, I was just making notes about what submission means to me, really, and it was right along the lines of what you just said, and I'll just go over the points that I wrote down. Relinquish control, trust of judgment, trust of leadership, the natural order of things, and I didn't get to finish the fifth one, which is more in touch with true nature. Um, yeah, I mean, for me, I'm dominant by nature, but I didn't start out this way. I found this along my life path of about 10, 11 years is where I made the last about last 10, 11, 12 years is when I made the transition really. Um, and before when how I picked it up was I became part of a group, and I was cool with somebody else driving the group, driving the agenda, so on and so forth, right? As
When
time,
you say driving agenda, do you mean like the women in a relationship or?
no, 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 this was a community service group.
Oh,
But
oh,
there were women involved every now and then, you know.
okay.
Um, and then over time, I began to prefer more and more and more to actually be in charge. So I'm at the point now, okay, you can probably drive for a little bit, but once I see that you start to equivocate and you start to stutter and become indecisive, nah, I gotta take over. If not right out from the start. I mean, that varies from person to person, but that's where I am right now, and I'll just hold it right there and let somebody else judge.
Oh, okay. And what does anybody think about that? Because we've had a lot of shows, and the last part he said, I definitely agree with because I've said it on a couple of shows, and I was kind of attacked for it myself. How I was saying, I don't mind letting a man lead, but if he, in the instances where he can't, or I don't see leadership in him, I just take over the role. And it was a big problem because I'm a woman trying to lead a man. So, what do you guys think about what what Slim even said to start? Like, does anybody have their own opinion about what the definition of submission is? You know, or agree? Ooh,
Well,
okay, I see
me,
you.
no, okay. I was making sure. I was making sure that nobody else was trying to say anything.
I know. I was like
Uh,
literally my thoughts just as you got yours, but you first.
okay. My understanding of submission, it can go both ways. It's just a passive. It is just energy. One has to be dominant or take lead into a certain type of role or something. I don't think submission or the relationship between submission and dominance is something entitled by gender specifically, but just situations and roles. We hear a lot about it when it's dealing with relationships. I mean, because it just I don't know. I guess this is how it like just nature just set it up, or whatsoever, where men are are meant to lead in these specific values or whatsoever, where women are meant to be submissive, and sometimes it can be vice versa, but majority of the time I think it's a passive balance, and I think with submission, a lot of people like to look at it in a negative narrative or whatsoever, but it's not really negative. Just submission should just be carefully given. Like, you can't just be submissive to anybody or everybody or whatsoever, but having good discernment and picking who you want to be submissive to.
Okay, so let me ask you. Um, do you guys feel like y'all need a submissive partner or need to be submissive in your relationships? And when I say that, I mean, like, what do you need for your partner to be a good soulmate to you? Is submission in that criteria or in that equation for you?
Um, I'm gonna withhold my answer. I want to see what the sister has to say. I want to.
Yes.
So I'm going to piggyback a little bit. So just about the definition of submission. Yeah, I agree with the definition because the definition's right. But it's like people were saying, it's really just the interpretation of that definition that causes the problem, right? Because people hear the buzzwords like submissive to a dominant or superior force. I forget what word you used, but yeah, people naturally feel oppressed, I think, at sometimes. But being submissive also like applies to different relationships, right? Like being submissive, you can be submissive in a friendship. Like you might be the one that usually goes with the flow or doesn't want to that can be a submissive personality, like submissive at work. It's not always like a love relationship thing. But yes, also to answer your question about submission in a partner, I mean, to some extent, I feel like you both have to be submissive to some extent. That's where the misinterpretation comes, where people think that being submissive means, I'm no bitch, like I'm an alpha, I'm a this, I'm a that. But if you're gonna have a successful relationship, you're like, even as a alpha male, you're gonna be submissive to your woman at some point if you want to live a good life, right? It's like, like yes, she wants to watch some bullshit movie you don't feel like watching. Yeah, you're gonna watch it because first of all, it's an easy ask, but you're being submissive to her wants, and it's not really causing you any harm.
Very true. I definitely agree with
So,
that.
Okay. All right. I got something. There two things. There and it seems especially with our people, uh, um, but people overall, but especially with us, that we don't seem to understand that there's a fine but distinct difference between being dominant and being domineering. Okay,
I
being
like
dominant uh, to me means what I said before. I can sometimes relax, and maybe she has some sort of talent where she does something easier than I would, like for example, keep accounting for the money, just for an example, or matter of fact, making travel plans, right? I
okay.
could do it, but she might do it better. So I might just provide her with the credit card, and you go set it up, you know. And with that, okay, cool. I don't mind her taking point on that, But when I was talking about taking the back seat, first of all, that's never in the bedroom. You know,
Never in the
it,
bedroom?
it's never in the bedroom.
What?
Never in the bedroom. No, I don't
Okay,
take the
here
back.
we go. Now we're talking. Let's see.
I don't. I don't take the back seat in the bedroom ever. No, that's not
Okay,
happening.
so you prefer, so you wouldn't submit to your partner in the bedroom? What?
So,
Interesting.
That's the man.
I feel like you're
What?
missing out, man. I feel like you're really cheating yourself out of some experiences here.
What?
Yeah, that's a win-win.
Yeah.
That's a win-win all around.
Yeah. What? You
Like
push
you
That,
me
that,
on
just
the
want to
that's
tell
a
you
bed, like
to
just
that's a
like,
that is
just
a definite win-win.
like you never let
what?
somebody tie you
Like,
up
and you
and
just straight
blindfold
take
you.
it? What?
That's a
That,
What?
good life.
I
So
got
Slim, you just get out. It's like fuck it, yeah, whatever.
no, it,
I know,
but
right? I could be on the game. I could be on the game, and you come in and you straight like, oh, that's the sexiest
Yeah,
thing. Like
yeah,
you
that's
throw
a,
away
that's
my
a,
whole distraction.
Just
exactly. You
saying,
walk
like,
past. If I'm sitting there butt ass, if I'm sitting there playing my game, butt ass nigga walk past me, it's gone. Bye. I'm going left.
What game?
Boy,
There
yeah,
is no
you
pause
won this
button.
one.
Oh well.
Don't let me be playing Madden. Be like, nah, you won this one. I'm out. Catch you later.
You got it.
yeah, because my thing is, why don't you submit? Like, why don't you? Why won't you submit in the bedroom?
What? Okay, so here's the thing, and I like men. Don't stone me about this. Allow me to explain this one, but men's just we've naturally been in submissive role like since day one, since we've been created. And why I say that is providing and protecting has always been a submissive thing. If you look at the king and you look at the queen of a kingdom or whatsoever, they have guards or whatsoever, which is protection. They have an army protection. They do everything that they say and they submit, salute. Some in some cases worship the king or queen or whatsoever. And then you have like the maid service and all kinds of stuff like that that provide and stuff like that. The people, which is also their peasants and stuff like that that provide for the like riches when they pay taxes and stuff like that. So if we take that and we look at the role that we have that we are supposed to be provided in the family towards the woman or towards the wife, and as well as towards the kids, um, we're in a state constantly where we have to submit to the natural needs or the natural desires in some cases of our other half or our children or whatsoever. So yeah, I mean, like for us to not think, we just don't like to say it's submission. We like to say, oh, it's us being a man or whatsoever. But at the end of the day, we have to like do what we have to do. We have no choice but to do it, or else we're not men, or we're not worthy of even being called a man. If we're not taking care of our wife's needs, or if we're not taking care of our children's needs, or something like that, we can't call ourselves men. But that is a submissive role that
uh,
we will have to take up with men as a man.
Well,
That's like a form of
you
submission.
kind of just about define the difference between being dominant and being domineering. Being domineering has a selfish component to it. Okay, from my
Hmm.
perspective, it has a selfish component to it. I am what I am, who I am, and I'm going to disregard and step on everybody else, regardless of who you are. However, being
Like a
dominant,
narcissistic, yeah.
yeah. However, for me, being dominant just means that I take point, but my decisions are for the benefit of everybody because there's a need that has to be met, and
Agree.
it's on it's on a case by case basis, but um, it has to come under consideration to be weighed and everything else. But
Yes,
I
and
mean, even
I want
even
to
on
talk
even
about that.
uh,
That
can I
holds
add
a
can I add one
weighing
thing?
situation. Sure.
I want to add one thing real quick onto what he was saying. Um, just it's kind of a demanding of a submission for the role that we play. So when we provide or when we protect or whatsoever, like especially when we're protecting. If you look at even if those who are in the military or whatsoever, if they understand like the role of those who are in command, they're responsible of everybody in their squadron or whatsoever. But
yes,
everybody in that
Just like
squadron
submit at
has
work.
to be in unison, in link. So they all minds have to be alike. So if he says if he says a certain word, he's thinking of a certain move. He expects everybody to be in sync with that. In order for him to be able to make the wise decisions or something like that he has to do of how they move and get out of there. Same thing when it comes to being a man. When we need y'all, when we are trying to protect the household or we're trying to provide and make sure everything is in center and into place, we need y'all to listen. Like if we're saying no, go over here and yeah, jump over here. I mean, we're not necessarily saying like we want y'all to do it just because, but we need y'all to ask, okay, how high do you need me to jump? Because
So
we
you
need
need
you to
your
clear
partner
that
to
fence,
submit.
maybe about 10. We need our partners to be able to and it's our responsibility of being in that role to not issue out demands that we know that like yeah we doing too much or we pushing it too much or something like that, but at the same time we need y'all to know is that when we're saying something it is for the benefit of the family, so we
right.
need y'all to move like this, no questions asked. We'll explain to you afterwards what's going on. But in the heat of the moment and stuff like that, if we need y'all to do this, we need y'all to do that.
Well,
Okay, stop right there. Hold on.
okay, go
Where
ahead.
Okay,
in
V.
this guy's reality does that work?
I have no idea. I know it works in the military though.
No, hold on.
I
It don't work
know,
in the military.
I know, I
It
know.
don't work in the military.
You don't think so?
I was in the military. It don't work in the military
I was too. I
because
was
sometimes
too.
it depends on what you're doing. You got to
Yeah,
make that rash decision at the last minute.
Hmm.
Hmm. So
yeah,
if for instance, like you have like
I
special
feel like
forces or
if my sergeant told me to go left, and I know it's bombs on the left,
hmm
and I go left, I know I'm guaranteed to die.
right.
But if I go right and then left, I gotta think about that following that command and also worrying about everybody else's life behind me.
Yeah,
So
hmm
if I feel in my heart that I was like, all right, I'll go left. But if I know something's over there that's gonna kill me on sight, I need to go right, and then left to get around it.
hmm yeah,
And I do, and at that point, in that point, you do have a right to speak to them, like, yo, that's not a good idea.
right. I was just about to get.
Well, a good leader. I mean, at the same time, yeah, a good leader at the same time is a good follower. So is a good listener sometimes. So
Yeah,
I completely agree with that. Like
yeah. So,
if
Definitely.
but like,
it's like that, and that's what I'm saying. Like not abusing your power or something like that just because you're saying it or something like that. I
now
think that's
as
also
far as
why women have intuition in the sense of they can feel and stuff like babe, I don't feel too good about this
But
situation
then
or
we
about
get back,
we have
but
to
then
be
we
able
get back
to
to what I just said. Where in the
yeah.
reality does that work? because we have some women that don't like to listen.
Nope.
And then you get a person like me, be like, all right, I done told you it's hot. You gonna put your hands still on the goddamn oven, go right on the head. I don't give a fuck now. I told you.
Right.
Just be, and that's what I say. In reality, that's what I say. I don't know.
And what I was going to say was that the trust and leadership that I spoke of before, but to add to that is the having the space to make a respectful objection. Hey, I don't want to go over here because just like you said, some bombs are coming over here. I'm more than likely to die. Would you rethink this? So. But that for me gets back into trust and leadership, that they would still hear the objections and take them into effect, rather take them into account, and re-examine the situation before committing somebody to something that could be dangerous or harmful to them. So. And that gets back to the difference between being dominant and being domineering as well. Are you beneficent with your control, or are you greedy and selfish with your control?
Well, let me ask you something, because I'm a little thrown off, because I'm not sure if, like, are y'all looking for submissive partners or not in y'all relationships? Like, because y'all threw me off to something different.
It has to be,
because I want to ask some questions.
Submissive. Has to be submissive, because I'm not interested in crossing swords when I get home.
Okay, and crossing swords, you mean like arguing and stuff like that?
Yeah, being argumentative and and out of order. We can have a debate, and a discussion about things, but if you're going to get out of order and argumentative, nah, that's a male trait.
That's a male trait. Wow,
Yep.
that's a male
Being
trait.
argumentative is a male trait. Yes.
Argumentative is a male trait.
I think being debative is a male trait.
Hold up. I'm gonna let him have that one. Yeah, that is a male trait. You're damn right. You can have that one.
Okay.
Got another guest in here.
I ain't gonna argue with that.
Wait. So me voicing my opinion is argumentative?
No. Different. Voicing your opinion.
No.
I love how Homegirl's camera came on just for that. Like, wait, what?
I always believe that it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Right. Exactly.
And now I don't take, like, you can, like, I'll tell anybody, you can argue at me, I'm just gonna look at you like you're crazy.
Right.
Because at that point in time, once you get into that mode, I'm gonna say some shit shock value, just to hold fucking your head up.
Exactly.
And I won't have to raise my voice or nothing. I'll just say the crazy shit and just keep on walking and go about make a sandwich, move about my night.
Right.
It's not a problem for me. That, like, with me, I don't like arguing at all. But if I have to, I'm gonna make sure I got every fact down the line, just like she would, before I even go into the battle. I'm gonna be prepared for that war right there.
Right.
If I know I can't win, I'm walking away.
I know that. I love that you approach it like that we're masterminds. It's like, I'm going to be as prepared as she is. It's like,
we got to. Oh no, we got to.
It's not a lot of women out here like it was back in the day. Like from the 50s and 60s, they were submissive as a motherfucker. But the 70s on up, it was like, nah, we're gonna do what the fuck we want to do and keep moving.
Mm-hmm.
But that's because
you get on the roller coaster and ride or get off.
Yeah. Can you be submissive and still voice your opinion if you don't like something?
Sure.
Because a lot of the women back in the day were yes women.
Yeah.
I want to hear, if you have a conscious objective, that's reasoned out, if you suspect something, I want to hear it.
Exactly.
Because I'm not in it for self, right? I'm looking out for my kingdom, if you in my castle, you in my kingdom, I'm automatically looking out for you as well. So, so if you see something I don't see, yeah, I expect you to speak up, but with respect though.
Nah, that's not
Yeah,
being submissive, bro.
there's certain.
That is
Okay. When
He
you
said
say
that's
with
not being
respect,
submissive.
is it almost like, all right, I'm gonna unloose the leash a little bit so you can speak now?
Sounded like to me.
Yeah,
No,
that's what it sounded like to me too.
I just think, I mean, and it goes with anybody. That's like kind of what I mean, I don't know if it's count as submissive or not, but it's just how you talk to people. With women now, like, and I'm not gonna say y'all, but I mean maybe,
No, because I was
but
gonna ask you, what women are you guys talking about?
like, but there's some that just feel there's some that just feel like they can just talk to a man any kind of way. So it's like
So do
we
you mean
have
black
we
women? Let's
do.
just say it. Let's just get it out there. Do you mean black women? Like black women just
I've
talk?
only dated black women, so I only have gotten it from black women.
That's all
So
women. No, it's all women.
I mean, it very well can be all women, but I can say as far as on my end, yeah. But I never dated outside, so I don't know.
Okay.
I can't.
Okay.
I'm not in that diverse. I'm not that diverse to say.
No,
But
I'm diverse, goddamn. Yes, it's all women. It's just different forms of how you do it. That's it.
Okay.
but I just think that it's how, like, you have body tone. I mean, or your body language. You have tone of voice, and then you got the words and stuff like that. If y'all come at it as like a body, I mean high tone of voice or whatsoever, and then your body language is doing all of this and in our face and all kinds of stuff like that. Oh, we felt like we being challenged. Our manhood being challenged. If any dude would do that in the
No.
streets,
I'm not. No,
All women don't do that.
I'll
All
do it right
women
here.
don't come like
This
that.
the face you get. Anything like that, this the face you get right here.
Right.
Come look dead at you like you bugging.
But okay, so let me ask you something, because I know that usually black women, and this is why it's not more people in the room talking to us, because I found out that black women hate this topic. I could be wrong.
Really?
When I went to talk to a lot of, hey, I'm doing submission, it was like submission. And it's always that I got. You know what I'm saying? Every time I say I'm submissive, it is submissive. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I think that I wanted to do this topic so that women can learn what men think, what other women think about submission, right? Can you be submissive to your partner and still voice your opinion? Because I think that's where we're getting, like, that's where I think.
I really don't think that we are on the different page about that, are we? Because it's like we kind of sort of
that, like, different page. No,
you should be able to speak up. You know, I mean, maybe that with respect, but even with the with respect thing, it's like that's not really a hard ask, is it? Like,
no, not at all.
No,
like, that should go both ways. Like, I expect you to respect me. Like, when if you're asking me to do something and expecting me to be submissive to it, I'm expecting a certain delivery. Like, yes, I'm naturally submissive until someone forces me not to be. Usually I get forced into the job. Like, I'm naturally submissive, but yeah, the world kind of made me a little more dominant than I wanted to be, because I was often in situations where, like, I don't know, maybe it's my energy, I don't know what it is, but meeting people that were more submissive than I was. So you get forced into a role that you don't necessarily want to be in. Like, that happens to me sometimes, because, like, I would love to be submissive, honestly. Like, yes, baby me, let me, I'll suck your dick in the mornings, I'll do all that fucking fun shit, but, like, give me something to work with here. Like,
what's your address?
But that's what I'm saying. It's like it's a lot of factors. A lot of it is delivery,
right?
And, like, because I have no problem listening to someone tell me, it's like, yes, daddy. It depends on what you do.
Yes,
how you're usually acting. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, I feel like people kind of get the submissive part twisted because, like, I know these same bitches that are like submissive, they the same ones doing the same shit, like yes, this, that, and this with the baby voice on the. I know y'all do that. Don't act like you don't. So like, don't get so attached to the actual word of submissive so much, and what it means is what I think is the problem. It's like you are
I agree.
Yeah, it's like not to be archaic and stuff, but it's like you are a woman, right? Even if you're fighting against your natural instincts sometimes, which is going to sound bad, but like, you know, by trying to be tough, by trying to be like this, that, and this, it's like you're still a woman at the end of the day. It's still going to come out through the cracks. So just stop trying to be so tough. It's okay.
And I got a perfect. I think I got a really good analogy for you.
Okay.
Many women work in offices, right? And they have a superior, regardless of whether it's a man or a woman. But in their job responsibilities, they know exactly what they're supposed to do and when they're supposed to do it, right? And they, by and large, know what would happen to them if they don't do it, you know, and also they know that there'll be consequences if they try to upstage their manager, you know, in a negative way. You know, now if it's a group thing and the manager says, you know, I'm gonna give credit to, you know, to my team members such and such, that's a slightly different story. But to upstage the superior where it's insubordination, you know, and you breaking the chain of command, no, women know that there are consequences for that and they act accordingly. Outside of the office, no, there aren't consequences, so they don't act accordingly.
Interesting.
Yeah, very true. Very true. Very true. Let me ask you guys: is there a certain vetting, like or selection process to find a submissive partner? Because it looks like everybody is into the submit. As far as the men, are y'all looking for submissive partners, or like, is there a certain process that you guys go through to find a submissive partner?
Yeah, there's a criteria. Not so much with physical, because black women come in all shapes, all kinds of beautiful shapes and sizes. So, you know, there isn't a, you know, just one physical type. There are favorites among the different combinations, but basically what I look for is, you know, do you take care in putting yourself together? Um, you know, and it gets back to, you know, how well, you know, how do you, do you give, uh, do you give respect in order to gain it? You know, how do you treat people? Not only me, but if, you know, if we were to go out somewhere, you know, even to a diner or whatever, you know, I'm looking at how you treat the waiter and other people as well, you know. Um, and the relationship with the men in their family is key, especially to the father, because if that's absent or damaged, that's a red flag for me.
Wait, repeat that.
I said if the relationship with their father is absent or damaged, with men in their family overall, but with the father specifically, if there's damage in those relationships, that's a red flag for me.
Okay, let me ask you about that. Why is that a red flag?
I gotta disagree with that.
Because the father is the first man in the daughter's life. If that relationship is damaged, she's going to bring that damage to me.
I don't believe that's true, because if you apply that logic to, like, you know, you're basically saying that people aren't capable of improvement due to their trauma.
No,
like that's like you know, like that's like,
well,
I don't know. I feel like you're limiting your options.
I'll do this much. I haven't run across somebody who has had a damaged relationship with a father that they have overcome and dealt with to a sufficient extent for me.
Mm.
She could be out there. I ain't met her yet.
So I guess my question is, why is it an issue for you? How has that become an issue for you that it's such, you know, a red flag or a thing for you now? Because I hope that you have some experience, I guess, with women that have, you know, damaged relationships.
Not only women who are carrying damage, but I've had abuse in my family too. So
Okay.
I'm not allowing it. I'm not accepting it at all. So
Okay.
I'm kind of keen on any shade of that abuse coming my way.
Okay, that's fair.
That's interesting. That is very interesting. Okay. Now let me ask you something. Okay, we let's go deeper, a little deeper. You know, I like to go a little deeper.
All right.
Let's talk about, because I want to talk about submission and all forms of life. So we talked about submission in the workplace. You know, we talked about kind of submission in relationships, and we talked a little about submission in sex. Let me ask you something about that. And I remember some of you were saying that you don't submit in the bedroom. Is anybody?
That wasn't some of us. That was literally one of us.
That was one, right? Right. There's one man in the room. Is anybody into like BDSM or anything like that? Because
yes, I'm a whole switch out here. I can be either or. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I'm a dominant, and that's the symbol for BDSM that I got up there, black and red.
Right. And you don't ever, okay, in BDSM, you're always a dominant.
Yeah.
Never switches.
Not a switch, not a sub. Nope, that's not what I do.
Okay, now let me ask you something. What about polyamory or polyandry? Because that is a big form of submission also. What is anybody? You don't have to say if you're in it or not. You don't have to say, because it's technically not legal. But
I don't know. I kind of feel like we moved on from that BDSM submission part too fast. Wait.
Well,
yeah, I agree.
I feel like
we should actually speak on.
I feel like that's kind of where the juice is at. Like,
before we add more people to the mix, you know.
Right, exactly, right.
Yeah, because we about to add a whole group.
Okay, so we know. Okay, so boom, we know. Like, right, Slim here is a dominant, right? Okay, so I'll speak on it. I'm also into BDSM. I was a professional dominatrix for pretty much all of my college career in my early 20s. Wow. And
okay.
I learned a lot.
Okay.
I was a dom on paper because that's usually what people want, but I operated as a switch. But unfortunately, I didn't get a lot of that. Like, I didn't get as many spankings as I wanted to. Make me cry. Oh. But like, nobody really, they want the money, you know. So it's like, all right, I'll do what you want. See, because I was more of a sensual dom, we'll say. I'm not really a corporal punishment type of dom. More of a
I like, that's my downside as well as sensual.
Denial. I'm gonna take care of you, but I'm gonna make you do what I want you to do type of dom, you know.
So you haven't been spanked enough, huh? Bring your ass.
I haven't been spanked in a while. It's really fucking annoying me. That's where you could really have some fun as a sub, though, or a submissive person. I feel like, sometimes like maybe women need to zero in on that part more sometimes, like, you know, the submissive and sex part, less so than the submissive in a relationship because I have a point to prove part. It's like, yeah, focus on the good sex part and like, you know, let the other stuff work itself out naturally. She'll be submissive eventually. Like you let it ride, girl. Give it a chance. Like,
yeah, you know, and you said something. That was important as far as having something to prove. Me myself, I'm secure in myself. I don't have nothing to prove to nobody. If I do want to prove something, it's only to myself that I can do something. You know, get over a hump, get to the next stage, get to the next level, whatever else, whatever somebody else thinks of me, I could give a goddamn.
Now, let me ask you something, because if you're in a relationship, you got a good woman, why not submit to her if that's what she wants to do? Like, why is it just a complete out no? Is it like you don't want nobody testing your manhood type thing, or?
You're asking me. I have not met any woman that I would submit to.
Ever?
That's a really good way of saying it, though.
Wow.
No.
Interesting.
What's the criteria to get a woman to submit to you? Or for you to submit to a woman, I'm sorry.
I'll know when I see it.
What's the criteria?
It has to do with connection and trust.
Okay, so it has to be.
It has to be about connection.
I mean, like I said, we automatically do it. Like when we in love with you and stuff like that. I mean, shit, we gonna provide and we gonna protect you. That's our way of showing submission to y'all.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, yes, men submit all the time. Like,
we do it all the time.
Like, I just never see my man in the bedroom and I'm telling you to do something and you say no. Like, that's over. I'm Sahara Desert now. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
well, okay. Let's put it this way. I guess it depends. What are you asking them to do?
That is true. It all depends.
Not everybody's that friendly with like a finger in the booty hole, you know? It depends
like
on
you pull out a big ass strap on into a bag, let's go, and then we like, what you want me to say? Yeah?
Like
hell no.
Happy Women's Day. No.
It's happy.
Don't come around me talking about pegging me. That ain't good.
No.
I'll tell you what. See, I'll tell you one thing. Like, that's one thing that also feeds like into some of my submissive nature. Like, yo, fucking with a penis is hard, bro. That shit is like really fucking labor when you're really doing work and not laying back and shit. Like having to wear a strap on and actually dick a dude down, that shit was I mean, it kept me in really good shape. But
you did it way too many times, dude.
Whoa.
Got the back muscles going and
wait a minute.
It's a lot. Like, I'm like, I gotta lift up leg. I'm like, who the fuck has time? Like,
wait a minute.
You gotta lift up legs and
wait,
go.
I'll
give you credit for the one, like, you know, for the ones that really try, not the ones that just lay back, like, whatever you want, babe. Like, you know, the ones that are actually like, you know, doing stuff. It's like, I give you some real credit. That's like, it's hard for you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's an aerobic workout. Yes,
it is.
I never knew.
Yo, stop, man.
Like, shit, I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
I'm gonna call bullshit on your response.
That's interesting, though. It's sure interesting. In the bedroom is something different. Like, you know,
there is.
Because, you know, there's submission with handcuffs. There's, you know, some people like, you know, bandanas tied around their faces. There's a lot of ways for men to submit without, you know, y'all don't do none of that. Like, that's a big trust thing, though.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that
like I've been chained, I've been rope tied.
Yes,
like,
hey, black man, you will be chained and tied. Really?
Yes. Yes. That's my kink. Like, what to take over?
Bro, don't tell me.
Have your way with me. Have your way with me. Like, what do you want to do? Like, dude, I got you.
Oh, bro,
have fun.
It ain't so.
First of
have fun.
The ancestors in me came. I was like, man, ain't happening with this one.
Look, and shit. Look. You gotta have melanin. You can't chain me up without melanin.
I don't
You gotta have melanin. Yeah, look.
And a safe word.
Safe word is Colorado. Safe word is Colorado.
Yeah.
Oh, don't fuck around and get too good. You forget the shit. Like Oklahoma, don't.
Look, and I got my hard nose and everything. Like, hell no, ain't shit going up my ass, or like ain't no pain or anything like that, or no needles or no knife play or no urine or anything like that. So I got my hard nose and stuff like that.
Wait, no, what kind of play? What was that?
No knife play?
Oh, knife play. Okay.
Knife play. Knife play.
Right.
No, people be into that, like knife play and stuff like that. Like,
right.
I'm good on that.
You're just saying no to everything. That's boring. I myself would get bored.
I had electricity before. I've done electricity before.
These face really just be doing it.
These things like I am never going there before. I ain't never going there in my life.
Yeah, you wouldn't be open to some of that stuff?
No, I've done some shit. I'm just saying.
Okay.
I'm not excluding.
But what he's saying is like that's like soft stuff. Like, you have hard limits. Your limits are hard limits. Like needles, knife play. Like that's not. That's
you talking about needles and knife play? I ain't talking about that. I was like, hey.
Yeah.
I draw the line at pegging. I'm like, hey.
Yeah, that's like whoa.
No.
Hold on.
I've seen a whole lot of things, bimbofication and all kinds of stuff, but
it's all forms of submission.
What?
It's all forms of submission.
Yeah, it's the stuff I don't do. I mean, other people do it, and that's fine. I just don't do it, and I'm not getting anywhere close to it.
And you would just shut it down, everything?
Yeah, we're not going down that road.
But isn't that a form of submission? Like to make your partner happy, no?
Nah, I would disagree with that because like you don't want to. These are conversations you need to have. You can't really push.
You
can't force your limits on someone else because then
talk this out before.
Yeah, because even with a chosen kink or fetish, there are degrees in it where they may want it to go. They may want to go very lightly. They may want to go moderately. They may want to go hard. So all of that, you have to have several conversations about to see where they are, where your common interests, fetishes, and kinks are, and where you might in a way kind of push each other. It's like say for instance, my submissive is a bit more into impact play, than I usually do. I might go the extra degree or so in order to satisfy her, even though that is outside of my norm. But still, then, in order to know that, you have to have involved conversations.
Yes, and like you can't just wake up one day and be like, oh, I'm into BDSM, and then it's a whole process that you got to go through. There's books and stuff like that, like exercises you have to go through with your partner and stuff like that, and figure out like, okay, I'll go all the way up to here, but I ain't going no further than that. Like,
I mean, it could also be less scientific too. Like, I mean, it really could just be like, yeah, I'm into this, and this. Are you cool with it? Nah. Okay. That's what it is. Like you meet each other in the middle with what they're willing to submit on. You can't really force them beyond their limits because that's not right, because you wouldn't want them to do it to you.
Right. And that pushing them into a hard limit breaks the trust, which is key.
Okay.
That's true.
And what about the poly? Let me ask you that. What about the polyamory? And the polyandry, because that's a form of submission also. What do you guys think about that?
It depends on what kind of poly, system we're talking about. It becomes submission if it's like you have a central piece, right? Where you have like, one man that has like 7 wives. Like then it becomes like a different thing. But it's like depending on the nature of the poly throng or however many people there are, it doesn't. I don't know that they're necessarily. I don't know.
I'll just push back with the condition. If everybody's being honest and taking care of their responsibilities, it can work. Whether it's responsibility in the
You know what?
relationship and outside, like your financial responsibilities, towards whatever arrangement that you have. And I haven't done it, but I imagine that such scenarios, in order to keep things above board, clear, and concise for everybody, that there's some sort of contract where everything is laid out.
Ideally.
Okay.
Yeah, and then poly, it's more in poly is more about roles than who submit and who. Like how I said, like it's more about okay, am I doing my part? Am I doing my session? Am I worried about my relationship and how me and this person set up? How me and my meta set up, like in the sense of like the person who is attached to my partner. You know, how me and their relationship is set up and stuff like that. So it's all about roles more than just okay, I am submissive no matter who I come involved with or something like that. Like no, like it's just like okay, yeah, and with this person, yeah, I'm going to be submissive or something like that, or I'm going to be, whatsoever. But in this person, I'm more going to be dominant. So more about when it comes to that.
So it's submission. Like when you guys say, if you guys say you want to be submissive, is it dependent on who your partner is for everybody, or is it just like, or
Not
is
for
it like in every
everybody.
relationship if you are submissive?
It depends on what degree of submission you're talking about, and it depends on the person.
And depends on the person. Okay. Okay. And
Mhm.
let me just ask you, I just wanted to know,
Uh-huh.
what do the men think about polyandry? Because
Look at
that is
Mario
a
face.
big form of submission for a man, isn't it? No,
Um,
you got
I
quiet.
think, to
I
me, I think that's a beta male dream, but that's just me.
Wow, I should have dated. So an alpha male can't be uh,
No,
uh, polyandry.
alphas are
nah
not second
nah
fiddle to
Oh, here we
nobody.
go.
nah nah.
Here we go
I
again,
mean,
Chris.
you can do it. I mean, there's people who can do it. Me personally, like I wouldn't mind you dating somebody else, but me being in a polyandry relationship, no, I need to be able to date somebody else as well. Like I'll be comfortable. Like I can't be in like a close, and that's what polyandry means.
Yes.
Like it's just you, somebody, or some other guy, and then her. Like neither one of y'all can go out or anything like that. Like nah, I don't know what man would do that. Now you have men that will have no problem being side dudes, no problem.
Right.
But
Like I
that's because
said,
they know they have that option of having somebody else out there. So by all means, you want to be with homie, go ahead, be with homie, and just come over on the weekends and stuff like that. But I got my own little situation going on over here too. I'm cool.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. And I know we talked a little bit before about the whole black woman thing, and I wanted to ask a couple of questions about that when it came to black women and submission, because when I actually read and was reading about submission, even when you read about it, it always says that like the black woman is always a problem when it comes to submission. And I just wanted to ask y'all a couple of questions. Why do y'all think, if you think that black women do not like to submit, because I was reading it almost everywhere, it kept coming up. You look at different YouTube videos, podcasts, everything. It seems like a lot of the problems that people are talking about when it comes to black men and then black women in submission, it's kind of always the black woman that's the problem. So let me ask you something. Um, Do y'all feel like black women don't like to submit?
Yeah, a good, I'll say some or many women do not like to submit, and this is why I think about it. It's partially based on my observation.
Is it all women
Um,
or just black women?
no,
Or you think it's all women?
I'll say many. I won't say most. Maybe it is most. It's definitely not all, but it's at least many women. Maybe
Many women.
forty
Okay.
percent. Maybe 40%. Maybe it's as high as 60%. I'm really not sure on the number. I haven't dealt with you know as many women to be able to give you any real number on that, or any kind of accurate guess on that. But
Okay.
getting back to what I was talking about before, because of what has happened in our history, in this country, in this society, as far as the use of the welfare state to break up the black family. We have a lot of daddyless daughters running around that are our age now. Okay, and those
Okay.
daddyless daughters have damaged and compromised relationships with their fathers, which carries right over to to their romantic relationships, because father is the first man in their life. Anybody else who comes behind them is going to be put in a specific um, framework, to somehow compensate for what the father did not do or did not provide to the daughter. Um, and because they haven't seen a fully functional, or even somewhat functional black man working in a relationship with their mother, they don't know how to deal with black men besides their own issues with their fathers.
Okay, so do we think that the black women not liking to submit is like a stereotype or a full stereotype?
Um, I won't say it's a stereotype. I'll say it's a phenomenon that affects a lot of sisters. It may be 40, 50, maybe 60%. I'm not sure about how many, but I do know that there are a lot of daddyless daughters, and there's a lot of damage, just from that aspect alone.
Okay, anybody else? What does anybody think about it? It looks like you want to say something, Adrian.
Now the problem is I don't know where to start. So come back to me.
Oh,
Well,
okay, okay.
I got you thinking, Adrian. All right.
Nah, you got me slightly heated, but in a good way. I know how you roll, Slim, man. I love you. You're the best. You annoy me sometimes because
Good.
we keep talking. No, I like it. It's stimulating. Um,
Mhm.
so speaking of damage, like it's just funny to me that we're acting like black people collectively don't have damage, like black men don't
Oh,
have their
good.
own damage that they're also most likely, more than likely, taking into their relationships, because we're talking about fatherless daughters, but we're not talking about fatherless fucking sons, because obviously that's a thing too. So like
Yeah.
there's an effect of that too, and there's other things that factor in here. So it's like, if we're gonna focus on damage as like a thing, like
The,
let's.
the only reason why I brought up daddyless daughters is because of the framing of her question. But you're
No, no, no. I
absolutely
totally understand what you're
I'm gonna
saying.
get
But
to the men too. I just wanted to ask about the women, but I'm gonna get to the men.
oh,
yeah.
sorry, my bad. I'm all in here.
No,
No, no,
but
it's good.
you're exactly right, Adrian. Daddyless daughters and daddyless sons, have their own damage, and it affects them down the line,
Mm-hmm.
and it bleeds into their romantic relationships, and I would dare say it even pronounces itself within the realms of, I'll say, BDSM, because I view it as a journey of self discovery. Now, if you have damage, it's going to pronounce itself. If you're looking at yourself clear and sober,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But most of us, if not all of us, need therapy because of our history in this country.
And that's on period.
Yeah.
Because it seems like it's like it seems like it's kind of like a false stereotype that's holding black men back from choosing black women. You know, like when we first started,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it was a thing of, you know, black women don't speak, you know, black women don't talk to us right and stuff like that. And, you know, just summing it up. And it was just like, you know, where does that come from? Because most black women, you know, if they're in a relationship, it got to be some form of submission there if they're in a relationship. Because I didn't even talk about the broken black men that
Mm-hmm.
a
Yeah.
lot of us good women have to deal with. Like,
Yeah.
what do we think about the broken black men?
Yeah.
And
But
then, you know,
well,
having a
and it's ironic. It's ironic that the I'll say many daddyless daughters have actually raised the sons that they hate to be hate to
Thank you. That's exactly where I was going to go, because that's what
right.
happens. Like, you have single moms that raise men that they would fucking hate. Like,
Yeah.
they never
Yeah,
going to
they
touch
raise
themselves.
betas.
That
Yeah,
treat
they raise
that will
betas.
treat
Right.
that will treat these poor girls out in the street like trash, because you have a mom saying like these little hoes ain't shit because, you know, she's jaded. And
Right.
yeah, so it's a vicious circle, girl.
Yeah.
Very true.
And that gets to what I was saying before the broadcast, but I'll let you go ahead and open that up.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I mean, we've been talking for a while, and I think we talked about a lot. Anything anybody wanted to bring up
Yeah.
on the topic, or I didn't cover before I asked the last question?
Yeah. Well, I'll let somebody else jump in because I just spoke.
Okay. D,
Oh,
would you
okay.
like to say anything, or Adrian?
I mean, I didn't have any final thoughts yet, but I've been dying to hear this story since Slim brought this shit up. So I kind of want to hear what.
Right. Right.
What is it?
Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to hear what someone's going to say on that. So
Right. Yeah. Now, and this sister by the name of Nylah, Nailah, I think it's the way her name is spelled.
Okay.
And she was dropping some truth bombs that just had my mouth open. She was saying one of the things that she said was the reason why many women are take a feminist approach in life, and especially dealing with men, is that among other things they have penis envy, because they want to be able to have be able to move and do as men do, without regard to whether how successful they are, but they have penis envy, because they were born women, but they want to have it all, as they were told by the womanist movement, that you can have it all, you can do it all in the office, and take it home and fry it up, whatever that saying is. What really got me was that she said that two things was that any woman who is not under the authority of a man should not be believed, because she's more than likely lying. Now, these were her words.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
The
wow.
and I almost fell out of my seat when she said that. Um, and she was talking about herself, and she says, as being a gynecologist, being around a lot of women on a daily basis, that uh, women kind of resent, and I need some feedback from y'all ladies on this one. women resent the role that they have been born into within the context of the Bible, starting with Adam and Eve. And what she was specifically talking about was that, again, women have an envy that they are not the builders, the movers, and the shakers, as to think and function and do as men do, as opposed to being in the position of a helpmeet. They have a resentment to that position, and I want to hear what y'all got to say about that one.
Yeah, I want to hear this too, because that's well, I know what I got to say, but I'm gonna let y'all go ahead.
I mean, the first thing I want to hear is, you said it knocked you out of your chair, all these things you were saying. My question is, do you agree?
I see the thing. It knocked me out of my chair because it sounded true. It had a ring of truth to it, but I needed some input to test it out and see what the consensus is. But according to how it rang to me, how it sounded to me, and how it kind of made sense, I really wanted to get some input before I put any stock into that opinion, because it could have been just her perspective on that. And if that's the case, then I don't need to buy into that.
And so the penis envy thing, I don't feel like that's a groundbreaking theory, because it's true. Like we've had those conversations where it's like, yeah, independent woman movement, I can do all of it. I don't need a man to do shit, like all that stuff. Like, and you're right, it probably is the penis envy thing. We do want to be able to do what we want. The thing that's really freaking tripping me up is what she said about a woman that's not under the control of a man is not
not under the control. Not maybe I said control, but not under the authority of a man.
Yeah, that means the same thing to me right now. I had to consider that, because I'm like, define authority if not control in this situation. What kind of authority? Like, what are we talking about? Because God has authority over me. Are we talking about that kind of authority? What kind of authority do we mean?
Well, even within the context of marriage, the father gives away the daughter to the groom. She takes on the groom's last name, not the other way around. So
what does that have to do with it?
Those two traditions speak to the authority factor, at least for me, as far as who is she covered by? Who is she protected by?
So are we saying that her thoughts and opinions until that happens can't be trusted?
Well, that's my question.
That's what she said, right? Like, I just want to make sure I'm getting this right.
That's what she said.
D?
Yeah, let's see what another man thinks about this before I go in. Because you look stressed.
I'm not stressed. It's just a factor of it's certain things that with that, like, a lot of people are not going based off what the Bible says anymore. So you got to look at things a different way.
Yeah.
So you got to be open to everything that's out in the world now. As a reality, that's a basic reality check.
Yeah, I agree, but we're still a Judeo-Christian society. Even though most of us are not devout, we're still in a way even loosely following some of the ideas, doctrines, regulations, whichever way you want to put it.
Either which way, it always comes back. It always comes back down to what the main topic is of being submissive. It's just the fact of who you with, how you want to do it, and where is it going to go from there. As long as you have that open discussion with that person, and you can see how they are, in certain relationships, if the man has to be submissive, the woman has to be submissive, either which way, if it's a 50-50 split down the line, nobody can be mad at anybody.
No, I get you. I agree.
I'm having issues with what she was saying. The reason why I'm having issues with what she was saying was like, I can think back to like some of my relationships. If I would have let the men that I've had in my life guide me, I wouldn't be where I was at now. You know what I'm saying? I respect all opinions, but most of my relationships, I hate to say this, but I was kind of doing better than them. So I don't, you know what I'm saying? But if I had to be submissive, I was in a relationship, I was submissive on other things. But as far as leading, that's why I always come back to, you're not going to lead us down this rabbit hole. Like, you know, so that's why I'm like, and as far as like the penis envy, I don't know, because I'm pretty dominant as a woman, but I know when to step down. You understand? So I envy penis. I love penis, but I don't envy. I don't want one, but I love them, but I don't want one. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so much better being a woman, I think. I'm just like, I don't understand the whole penis envy thing. You know? And I mean, and as far as like the olden days and my father picking my husband, I'm so glad we wasn't doing that, because it wouldn't have worked. And I love my father to death, God bless his soul. But no, he can't pick nobody for me. And it's like that. I don't even agree with that whole type of thing with marrying a daughter off, but I know that's what they did back in the days. Yeah. But like, I'm so glad we're not doing that type of stuff now. Like, now, and like, look, okay, I see you. We have Mr. Francis. He said that, okay, neither does a man want an overly aggressive woman. Yeah. Now, let me ask you something, because we always hear this word aggressive. Does aggressive mean assertive? Because that's what aggressive really means. Like, I think I've always seen it as, if a woman has an opinion, she's aggressive.
That's not what it means. If she's aggressive, she's aggressive. You're assertive, you're assertive. Two different things.
Right. Yeah. Also context makes a difference as far as, what works and what doesn't. So absent, real context, that's kind of murky to get into.
Okay, because that's what they're talking about in the chat room. I saw that. I also saw no man wants a submissive woman.
No man wants a submissive woman.
Interesting.
And that is an interesting take.
That's very interesting. I would love for him
who is this?
I would love to hear from that person too, actually.
Who is this? Is this a man or a woman who said this?
This is a man, Mr. Francis. He said,
I wonder if he means it in the context that like he wants an equal or someone that'll challenge him. Some people really are into that, and I think that's a fun dynamic to have. Like, I like to be challenged. Like, I know a lot of people that also like to be challenged too. So, and there is a point sometimes where submission can become, let's be real, it can become outright boring to the wrong person. Like, some people need the stimulation of someone that might disagree with them, of someone that might offer a different opinion, or maybe just will push back a little. Like, I feel like I've seen situations where, a man has had a woman who was so submissive that it was so boring that he still stepped out on her anyway. Like, she's doing everything that you're saying that you want her to do, but you're over it.
I will say in my now that you speak about it, or rather now that you touched on it, I will say that I like a certain degree of brat as a challenge.
Yes, I am a brat. That's why I'm saying this.
Because explain what a brat is for those that don't know.
Huh?
And explain what a brat is for those that don't know.
Well, because it's like, I'm not really aggressive, but I'm the type of one that's I'm gonna push your buttons. I'm gonna see what I can get away with, but I'm not gonna really Type of thing, you know?
Yeah, a brat would be a submissive who has a stubborn streak. You know,
it's like topping from the bottom.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't roll over. You know, when you say, you know, they'll push back a little bit.
Yeah, make me.
You know, and they'll, you know, what did you say, Adrian?
It's like, yeah, make me. Like that's what I said. It's like, yeah, it's like, yeah, make me.
Yeah, don't forget to give me your address, okay?
Yeah,
but
you need a little challenge.
Huh?
Yes, like
yeah, we got you.
Challenge. Nobody wants a yes woman.
Right. Yeah, I think I understood that. Mm-hmm.
Our Facebook user said, "Boo."
Some women do want yes men.
Yeah, some do, and those.
I feel like there's something for everyone.
Yeah, you know, and that's cool. That's just not for me.
Yeah, I can appreciate stubborn to a certain level, but then after a while, it's good. You get the face like whatever. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because well, that stops being fun. Like if you're just, you know, I'm not doing. It's not fun anymore. You know, a little pushback, a little like tug and pull.
Yeah, a little spice, a little heat. You know, a little friction. Okay, you know. And I kind of struggle to describe the line where it ends up not being cool anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it's just once it gets crossed, it's like not into that. Yeah, you know it when you see it.
Do you guys like a challenge or would
you? Yeah, I love a challenge. I love somebody tell me that they not gonna do this, not gonna do that, and I'll sit there and look at you like, all right, eventually you're gonna do it, so I'm not even worried about it.
It's like I'm not gonna sleep with you on the second date. No, stop. I'm not. Like, no, I'm not gonna do that. Like, what? No.
Yep. And then that date go right, and then you be like, well, guess where you at? In my bed. That's it.
Looking like a clown. Like,
as my ego has gone from here to here, because I know exactly what the hell is past.
Yeah, and your red bottoms are looking at the ceiling. Okay, so
exactly.
Okay, that's how you.
Unbelievable.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Francis said, I think a lot of folk forget that relationships are meant for the two to relate.
Yeah, but we're talking about a specific dynamic, though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Is a yes woman interesting?
Hell no.
Is a yes man interesting?
No.
Hell no. That's the beta shit that we talk about.
No, don't open this can of worms because that's not true. That's not what beta is.
No, it's not even about let's keep it straight. A lot of shit, I can give proof of that shit right now. I have physical proof that I've seen it right now. And it's like you act all chummy chum alpha with your boys, but as soon as she say come home, it ain't no I'm out. Or my favorite is like the person she'll talk to you and give you all the info on a person that's bad. And then when you see that person, you thinking the same thing because of what this person is saying.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that does happen.
I'm like, yo, I've seen it firsthand, and it's funny as hell to me. Gotta be like, yo, you have no balls. You cannot stand up for yourself. Your backbone is gone.
Right. Actually, she's carrying it.
She wears the pants in the family.
Yeah.
Now I admit when I'm in a relationship, I don't care. My girl speak up for me if I'm not there. Mm-hmm. And if you know how I am.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, Lord. I summoned you.
What can I?
Oh, that is magic. I'm telling you.
Adrian,
I literally was playing for you. They're doing the beta talk again. They're doing the beta talk again. Please shut them up. Please.
No, he's not a Marielle's not a beta.
No, but he hasn't talked about.
No, he's not.
No, but he's the. Y'all are wrong with what y'all are saying about betas. That's the point.
No, I'm not wrong.
The beta advocate.
All right, I'm gonna say like this. It's not just about a beta. It's about a bitch ass nigga that's doing.
That's what it is. It's like just say that because that's not betas. That's like no. Well, yeah. But just say
that. Yo, D. Now she needs to be rescued again, right?
Like, damn it!
You're like, yes, I got somebody on my side. No.
That was good enough. You know what? I'll take that, the emotional support.
Said exactly.
Enough. Because he's broken this down before. A beta is not just a person who's a bitch, like a pussy bitch. That's not what a beta is.
No, it's not. It's not.
Yeah.
But some of them are.
Is that most of them? Some of them?
Most of them are.
They're sensitive, right?
Most of them are. They're very sensitive. And then they're not leaders in their own right, so they don't know how to become one at that time.
Right. You know, let me ask you this.
Well,
how many bitch alphas have you seen?
Honestly, quite a few, to be honest.
I don't know.
They are counterfeit alphas.
Yeah, counterfeit. Them niggas is betas trying to beat us.
Yeah. Betas in alpha clothing.
Because I'm like, the most alphas I've met have been some of the most, if we're gonna go by these definitions, some of the most sensitive, like hair trigger temper, like, where it's like, whoa, this is like toddler shit. Relax, control your emotions. Like, so, I mean, just saying.
All right, Mr. Francis said betas don't exist as per the creator.
We ain't talking about the Bible right here. What do we?
Oh, damn.
Uh-oh.
Where did the whole
You just erased betas from existence. Betas do not exist.
I don't mind being in a relationship with a beta. I really don't. And I've always said that. Like,
well, since you're dominant, of course.
Huh?
Since you're dominant, of course.
And I am dominant. But, I don't mind. Like, I can get along with anybody. Betas are not that bad. They're not bad dudes.
Yeah,
like,
but you would respect the beta, though.
Mr. Fred said boo.
He said boo. Yeah, I agree. Boo.
Nothing wrong with a beta, man.
No.
Actually, because I switch, I can do both. Like,
because Destinee, you are a switch. Yeah, I feel like with the right person, like, you are able to be submissive. Like, like that's why you're able to,
And I don't mind.
I'll say that Destinee, you might be an exception, but from what I've seen, betas don't get no respect.
What's wrong with betas? Why?
That's what I'm saying, Marielle.
No.
I love you, Marielle.
I'm just trying to figure out if beta is your vice president, your second in command, your enforcer, the right hand, the fist of God. Why are they frowned upon? These are your second in command people. You have alpha, and then you have betas.
No, I hesitate to put the command structure in that same frame.
But you should, because if you have alphas that don't want to follow anyone, like who's gonna basically what he's saying? Who's getting shit done though? Just saying.
Because it's like the chief and the Indians. Everybody can't be an Indian. I mean, everybody can't be a chief.
Can't be a chief.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with being an Indian though either.
They get the job done. They make sure that their vision comes to effect. Now, what people are getting mixed up with beta males is the omega male, which they're your yes men. They don't care what, as long as they can get their piece of the pie or their crumb. They're like what's that? I can't remember that movie, but House Party. The little small guy that he was like, I'll kick your fucking ass. If you see House Party, you know that's an omega.
Full force. That's what that was.
Yeah, that's a bait. I mean, that's an omega male, but what people will refer to as beta male, but not really beta. They just hang around, and then he's following a gamma male, a person who is not who has to be like they're your bullies or whatsoever, but they have alpha male tendencies, but they try to enforce it. Compared to where alpha males, like if they're there naturally, they'll fall into that place.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Well, you know,
Thank you,
Mr. Francis brings up a really good point too. He said a beta is not in command, but everyone can be a native, not Indian, unless you're born there. So
Touche.
They got technical, man.
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 Touche, face chaser.
I get it. Like he said, look, the interesting. I feel you, Mr. Francis, David Francis. I feel you. He said a bully's a bully. Nothing else. Alpha males don't exist either. Oh, he said alpha males don't exist
Oh,
either.
really?
Oh yeah, we're erasing. We should erase alphas.
But I understand from his. I understand from his concept because it's.
How can you say that?
It's because I think like the whole idea of placing titles like me coming out saying like, oh yeah, I'm an alpha male or yeah, I'm a beta male or even a sigma male, like
It's
or
weird.
whatsoever. That right there, that doesn't exist. Now I think when it comes to being alpha or whatsoever, it depends on the situation that you put in. Because you could be put in a situation, you could be claiming that you're alpha male all day until somebody who is really more tougher than you and more well equipped to handle the situation comes to play. Now you're gonna try to push your alpha male mode. No, now you're not being an alpha male, you're being a gamma male. And you're trying to force yourself to
letters, man.
Well,
Like,
are beta males better?
But I mean, but I got to ask, but is it being a gamma male just because you're out of your element?
Oh, look at this. This is a
good question.
That's what they're talking about, right? That's a good question because it's kind of like wolf packs, right? Like everybody's an alpha until another alpha says, "Hey, I'm the alpha now."
I'll respond with the African proverb I heard. When two elephants fight, it's the grass that suffers.
Yep.
I get it. Whatever makes kind of sense with what Dee just said. She said, "What happens if two alpha men go toe to toe? Wouldn't one of them then become a beta
in that situation, right? Right?
Look at.
I say this all the time. You could be an alpha. You could be an alpha all day until your big brother show up.
Exactly.
And you said that, yeah.
And unfortunately, I'm the big brother. I'm always the big brother. So
yeah, let me walk in and my little brother around. Like, look, instantly, like, say something. Say something.
Exactly.
Say something.
It depends on the setting, but we're following archetypes that come out of the animal kingdom. So when two alphas fight, a lot of times one of them has to die.
Well, I would rather have a beta male if it came to submission, since all these alphas want to bang on bacon all the time. Like, you know what I'm saying? When I say bang on bacon, you're not submitting when, it's like,
who said anybody banging on bacon? It's not that. It's just the whole fact of, it's like it's like certain men that stand in a certain stature don't take no shit.
Right.
From nobody. Not even that. I'm one of them. I don't take no shit from nobody. I don't care what you say. You can talk to me any which way. I'm still gonna look at you like you're stupid until you calm down and want to listen. So it's like, what's gonna hurt you more? Me being quiet or me arguing with you?
Right. So can all the alpha men submit to their woman at some point? Is that a thing that alpha men do?
It's I'd say with me, it's a mutual line of respect.
Has to be.
And I'll keep you on, like with me, I always keep anyone I'm dealing with on the same line with me. So if I know I don't take no shit, I won't allow her to take no shit. I know she don't take no shit. She better not allow me to take no shit.
Right. Because she's part of your kingdom. So so y'all are gonna have the same rules.
Exactly.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. And we got let me see. Mr. Francis said the point of grounds of approach, each circumstance is specific. Okay. So y'all aligning, y'all doing pretty good. All right. So let me ask you something, because I know we've been talking for a while. This is a very good topic. I want to ask all of you, and I want everybody's opinion. what is the best advice to help your partner or your future partner if you are looking for a submissive partner, or if you want them to become submissive? Like, what is it that would make for a better relationship? If the answer is to create a healthier relationship. So what's
Wait,
like your
rephrase that. Rephrase that for me.
because I
Yeah,
know I put a lot into it, right?
Because that's a lot of questions in one question. So, like, try that one more time.
I always do that.
Yeah.
What is the best advice to help your partner if you want them to become submissive, later on down the line in your relationship?
Okay, no, that's the question.
Okay, so that assumes that they're not
wanna-
submissive to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
You say you don't want them to be submissive?
I said your question presumes that they're not submissive to begin with.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
if they are, then good. But if they're not, how would you get them to be submissive?
I'm not trying to put a square peg in the round hole.
I disagree. I got this. So
I got one word for everything.
Right.
I got one word for everything.
Okay.
Communication. That's it.
That's literally what it is.
That's literally what it is.
You're not training a dog, right?
Exactly.
It's like you can make someone be submissive without it's like, okay, this is how we're gonna do it. It's like, no, you butter them up, right? You talk to them about it.
I say if you the 3 points of communication, like checking body language, tone of voice, and the choice of words. I mean, at the end of the day, it's communication.
Yeah, you can make it happen. It ain't gotta be all that.
Right.
It's so interesting.
Let me backtrack a little bit. To get to the evaluation that I spoke of, not putting a square peg in the round hole, it takes communication before I would get to that conclusion.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a bridge too far, it's a bridge too far. That's it. If it's something that we want to entertain, then that's a different conversation. But of course, it's got to be communication, a lot of communication before I arrive at that kind of conclusion.
Okay. The chat room said, Mr. Francis said, each keep it 100, but then look what else he put. She wanted though.
Right, exactly.
Hey.
Right, but you got
all the communications if she wants it.
It's like, you like it? That's what's up. Let's do that.
High five.
Adrian, I'm gonna get a fresh belt for you, all right?
Because I feel like when you get into a relationship, you do have to teach your partner what you want.
That's true.
You're not gonna find somebody that knows everything you want. Yeah, I need to train you. Yes. You understand? Whether it's like you a dog or whatever, I need to train you to what I like.
Well,
escalated so quickly.
Now you're getting into the specific kind of conversation that's called being under consideration. This is where you would have all of those conversations and seeing where you line up and to what degree.
But I wouldn't have a conversation with my partner about that.
You would not have a conversation?
Just do it. Yeah, because you have to train a person to what you like. I'm not going to sit you down and be like, this is what I like. But I'll keep giving you instances and showing you. Eventually, you'll understand what I like.
I understand that.
You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to sit down.
I understand what you're talking about, but then, I just think you can very easily hit your head up against a proverbial wall, and then she dries up. She's all out of subspace, not in the moment anymore, because I made a wrong step that I didn't know that she wanted to go to.
I feel like that applies more like if we're talking about BDSM though, right? Like I thought we were talking more like normal relationships, because it's like if I'm gonna sleep with a person, we're not gonna fill out a checklist first. We're not gonna necessarily, we're gonna figure out.
Fair enough.
Right? No, we're talking about normal relationships.
Yeah, like if it's like, you know, kinks and stuff, and it's like I understand that. Like, yeah, you need to talk because you could have a weird drop or something. But
yeah, I agree with you, D. Alpha doesn't mean asshole, which is the what I said before as far as being defined, but distinct difference between being dominant and being domineering. Being domineering is the asshole.
right. Just like being aggressive, like, you know, like how aggressive and assertive don't mean the same thing.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
aggressive is being mean without provocation. Like you're starting a fight for no reason. That's aggression. That's not assertiveness, putting your foot down and like standing up for yourself.
Right.
Exactly.
And I like what she said. She said submissive doesn't mean no voice or opinion either.
Right.
Which is kind of what you know we were talking about earlier. So yeah, that definitely.
I wish more people understood that. I feel like if more people understood that, though, we wouldn't be having this conversation. So maybe it's a good thing they don't.
Yeah.
Let me just put it out there for all the people that are watching. Do not believe the distortions of 50 Shades. 50 Shades has it wrong. Okay? 50 Shades was just a media event, and it is not the characters and the story arc are not are lacking a whole lot of substance and a whole lot of meaning and connective tissue within the story, the characters, the arc, everything. So don't feed into 50 Shades. It was just media, and make sure you realize it's just a story in print and on TV, but in real life, BDSM is a whole lot deeper than what they showed you.
I don't know, man. I feel like anyone who's taking no. I feel like anyone who's using 50 Shades of Grey as like your BDSM tutorial, we just need to borrow them. Like
a lot of people
do its work. A lot of people, like you got bigger problems than that.
But a lot of people have though, because that's their only exposure.
That's fair, I guess.
You know, and
okay, let's take that. Hold on. I want to unpack this real quick.
Come on.
Because even with that, we can even do that with like we can say like in the early 2010. A lot of people, and tell me if I'm wrong with this, like how people are taking 50 Shades of Grey and basing BDSM onto that.
Right.
I think that's kind of what happened with the Black community, was basing relationship off Tyler Perry.
Oh my God! I hope not. Like,
I mean, if you think about it, like the expectation.
Hey, look, I'm not trying to go down that alleyway yet. And go around. Tyler got some people in his pocket.
You're right, though. You're right. But
wait. What do you mean specifically when you tie it into Tyler Perry?
Because a lot of stereotypes goes into a lot of how he made his movies and stuff like that. Like the dark skinned guy is always like the aggressive bad guy, then the light skinned guy is the savior, whatsoever. Then it's always
that's been damaging because women have fed into that and converted the fantasy of a story and and applied it to real life, even though it just does not fit.
Okay, so this was a really, really good topic. I covered a lot of stuff, and I learned quite a lot of things about you guys, and about just the topic of submission in general. I want to thank everybody that's in the chat room. Guys, if you're not on the Uniq Xpressions podcast YouTube page and you're not subscribed, please subscribe. The big red button, please subscribe now. You can go to my page on Facebook, my Instagram page. Like, follow, comment, share, everything. All right. And I want to thank everybody that came out and actually talk with me on this topic. I think we covered a lot. We got a lot covered. I think we all learned a lot.
Yeah.
All right. And guys, also, if you are on any of my pages, please check out the merchandise that's on those pages. We have Unique Expression Podcast shirts and hats. You can look on some of those videos, check out some of the videos, really good, interesting topics. I want to thank this my lit crew here. I want to thank y'all too. All right, so y'all know what part this is, right? Everybody say good night, y'all.
All right.
Good night.
That was great. Good night, y'all.
Yo, Adrian, call me. No.
See you next time, Slim.
Have this sweet talk.